Basically today what I'll be making are spinach and meat cakes. It's a 3-serving dish, and that's 2 cakes per serving, 2 meat and spinach cakes per serving. I'll be using 1/4 pound of ground turkey, 1/4 pound of ground beef or ground chuck, I think that's what I have there. 6 ounces of leaf spinach, or close to a 1/2 pound of leaf spinach, and 1/4 of a fine chopped onion. Basically, we need to chop it up 1/4 of an onion. It's not a cup per se. We'll also be using 1/4 of a bell pepper, so we can just kind of estimate that. 1 garlic clove. I'll be using a 1/2 teaspoon of minced garlic, which is equivalent. About a 1/2 teaspoon I'll be using kosher salt, and then about a 1/2 teaspoon of black pepper. And then for the side, it'll be with rice. I'm just going to use fried rice in a package. I'm not going to make any rice to go with this. And basically, this dish has about 297 calories per serving, about 500 to 600 grams of salt. So it's not that steep on the salt. I've had a lot higher sodium content. But the calories are only about 297 to 300. 2 grams of fat, no saturated fat, and then I think it's about 15 grams of protein in each serving. So we'll go ahead and get started. It's a quick dish, and hopefully it'll be tasty. This is the first time I'm making this, so we'll see what happens. Okay, here are the ingredients, and we'll start with the front first. Here we have our garlic, which is a 1/2 teaspoon, or equivalent to 1 garlic clove. Then we have about a quarter of an onion and a quarter of a bell pepper, and I got those mixed up. I like to freeze that so it's already mixed and blended. And then we have a 1/4 pound of ground chuck. This is 80/20, and then 85/15 of ground turkey. That's a 1/4 pound also. And then this here is our 5 ounces of leaf spinach. It's fresh spinach there. I just put it in a bag, and this bag here is 5 ounces. And we got our black pepper and our kosher salt. So we'll go ahead and get started and get this thing to cracking. Okay, first of all, what I'm going to do, the spinach, it calls for it to be cut into pieces. Instead of dealing with cutting up all this spinach, I'm just going to put it in a food processor and just kind of process it up so it's cut into the pieces that I want without using a knife going through all this. Okay, it's a lot quicker. Okay, as you can see, that's cut up pretty good there. And you want to cut up enough to go fine enough, but not minced or pureed or anything, enough to go into your meat patties. So that's how the spinach should look, basically cut up like that, chopped. And then we'll go ahead and we'll just blend this together. Now, what you want to do is start your skillet, have your skillet preheated. You don't need to put any oil in it unless you're just using ground turkey. I would recommend putting a little bit of oil in it or spraying it really good, because the ground turkey does have a tendency to stick. Okay, now basically what I'm going to do is put our spinach. This made quite a bit of spinach. It looks like a lot more than those bunches when it's shredded up like that. And we're going to put our onions and bell peppers in there. Our garlic. And then our ground beef. I'll break this up. Okay. And then our ground turkey. Okay, I kind of cook with both of these because the juices will cook out of those, so it won't cross-contaminate when it cooks. If I was cooking this and it wasn't done, the juices would cross-contaminate. Okay, so basically, after we do that, hands here. Okay, and basically you just want to season this, and you can season this according to your own taste buds. You don't have to use the exact amount of ingredients. Ground turkey does require a little more seasoning. Putting a little bit extra kosher salt in here. Okay. And then what you're going to want to do is basically mix this up really well, because you're going to have to make that little bit of meat into patties. So, and these look a bit green, I must say, when I saw the picture. There's a lot of spinach in there. Okay, so you're going to mix this up, and then what you're going to do, it doesn't call for any egg as a filler, so you're going to have to make these into patties, and then you're basically going to just cook them like a hamburger. You're going to put them in the balls, though, and then you're going to flatten them out. So you want it mixed up pretty good, like so, to where you can, see, we can make a ball out of this. It's kind of messy. So you can make a ball out of that, because you're going to mash them down and let them cook in the skillet. Okay, so I'm going to make these into patties, and then we'll be back and put them in the skillet. Okay, so we have 5 spinach and meatballs here, and basically these are about 3 ounces a piece. So one of these will be it'll be kind of like 1.5 serving for one of them. So 3 servings will go 2, 4, and then this one here will be a small serving by itself, or you can cut it in half and make it a 2 serving. Okay, so basically we have our skillet ready to go. I'm going to add a little bit of Worcestershire sauce in there just for flavor. And you're just going to put your patties in there like so. Stir this up a little bit. And I should be able to get all these in here. Try to use a larger skillet. Okay. So you want those to be able to slide around. If they stick, you really want to spray this first. Okay, and once they get started, like such, you're going to want to mash them down and keep them into their patty shape, like a hamburger, per se. Mash those down so they'll cook thoroughly. Like meatballs, you don't want them to be that thick. Okay, and we're going to let these cook. And then we'll flip them over and let the other side cook. And then they'll be done. And generally, like I say, you just want to cook them both sides till they're done. You can pretty much tell when they're done. Just maybe stick a fork on them to see the firmness. If it's ground turkey, if you cook ground turkey regularly, you'll know when it's done. This is a blend of both meats, so I can just kind of estimate. It'll probably be about 5 minutes per side, maybe 6 or 7, depends. And we'll go from there once it's time to turn them. Okay, we'll go ahead and give these a nice little turn. We have to help turn those a little bit. We'll mash them down a little bit more when we turn them. Cook it a little quicker on this particular side. Go ahead and slide that over. Okay, these should be really good, nice and healthy, and hopefully they'll be filling. They should. We only used half a pound of meat, and like I say, each of these is about 3 ounces. This one is a little under 3. That'll be a good one for a snack. But basically with the you figure 8, and then the 5 ounces of spinach in there, that's 13. So that's why we got our all of this about 12 ounces, 3 ounces a piece each patty, pretty much. So all right, we'll go ahead and come back when those are done and put them with the rice and see what they taste like. Okay, here we have the finished product. And this is what we do. We're going to check it out. Now this whole entire plate, bread, rice, meat, spinach, minus the wine, Has 267 calories. There's 11 grams of fat, 3 saturated, because I used some butter and then with the bread. And then this is light butter and light Italian white bread, I should say. 613 grams of sodium, so, and 13 grams of protein. So we'll go ahead, and these are very tender.
We consider them to be armed and extremely dangerous. No one should approach them. No one should attempt to ever apprehend them except law enforcement.
Even if you're not a spinach fan, you would still like this, unless you just hate spinach. But you cannot hardly taste the like a harshness of spinach in here. If you like fried spinach, you'll love this. But it's seasoned great. This is really good. It's the first time I made this, and I'll be making this again. Overall, it's pretty healthy. The kids should like it. Just don't tell them spinach is in it. They'll be all right. Nice little bit of white Zinfandel. On point. Spinach meat cakes with rice, light Italian and white, and a little white Zan. Go check it out.